Am I live? I think I am. Show me the comments. Takes a minute for StreamYard to kind of catch up and the comments start coming in. If there's anyone there, it doesn't even tell me how many people are here yet. Oh, anyways, good morning, everybody. We're a minute early, so we'll take a few minutes, let people filter in. Welcome to SaturDave's. Yeah. Hi, Lucian. Say hi.
Hi, everybody. Oh.
Ow!
Hi, everybody.
Welcome.
I'm feeling better, and I don't feel high yet.
He's getting there, I can tell. There's a good high cooking.
Right. Hi, long hair, skinny-eyed toe.
Hello, how are you? Welcome.
Should make them admin. They're always here.
Yeah, I can't. I should, but I got to do it through the.
Oh, I can do it. Since it's on our channel.
Yes. So there you go. Anyways, welcome. Hello, Mystical. Hello, Katie. So today, once we get going, we're going to be talking about. We are going to be talking about. Let's bring up the other camera. We're going to be talking about this little. Oh, I hear myself.
Sorry.
We're talking about this little tidbit.
Okay, who would like to be admin? We're going to make, a mod. We're going to make Sonia.
Oh.
Katie. Mystical. And long-haired, skinny-eyed toe. Since you guys were... Oh, shit. Undo.
What did you just do? Yeah,
I almost just accidentally... I'm sorry, long-haired. I just, hid you for all of a brief second because I accidentally hit the wrong button.
This is what happens.
Okay.
This is what happens when you got someone on prescription medications running the...
Okay, there we go, long-haired. You guys are all admin now. Well, not admin,
moderators. Okay, so, yeah, we're going to be talking about the Light Seers Tarot. Yeah, I'm sure there's been 1,001 walkthroughs of this, but I'm going to give my perspective.
Yeah, that's fine.
It's always good. And
do you know how many times I will watch a million videos of a walkthrough just because I feel better knowing multiple different perspectives?
Here, hold on. Let's do a little adjustment.
Anyways, I'm going to go finish my eggs.
Oh, that's right. Finish your eggs. Interesting story. How did I get this deck? Well, I paid a lot for this deck. I actually gifted one of my Wizards Tarot decks to Lucian, and he gave me this as in return. Mystical says, hope you're feeling better. Yeah, he's feeling fine. He's feeling fine. Little stiff neck. He's got the good drugs now. So he's feeling fine. So let me see who else to say hi. I think we got everyone. All right, so without further ado, let's jump into this deck. The first card is, of course, the Fool, because I'm going to start with the majors, and let's put our Fool card down. I like this Fool card. It's almost like, how in a typical Fool card, like in the what do they call it? In the Vital-Waite, he's just jumping off the, walking off the cliff. It's a little different here. She's kind of falling backwards off the cliff. It's quite interesting. Oh, good morning, October. How are you? So that's our Fool. Interesting. So we'll put this down over here. Let's move on to the next.
Why don't you just take them out of the box?
Because I like them like this. I might actually make a pile. And this is our Magician card. I love this Magician card. This is a little more of I don't know.
Water bending?
Yeah, it's something.
No, it's bending.
It's almost like celestial. It looks like, right? This I don't have a pointer. I'm going to use my lighter. This almost looks like a galaxy, if you would, here. And it just adds that like celestial mysticism to it. It's definitely interesting. And then the way he's dressed, more like, I want to say monk, but more like there's just a lot of. So Lucian, you keep asking. Remember, you play around. He's got this thing, and he's like, "Do I look mysterious?" Well, this magician has a mysticism about him. Looks very mysterious. And let me put it back. I love that the infinity sign on his hood. He's working the magic with his hands. It's just beautiful. Okay. Moving on. Oh, the next card is our High Priestess. Look at her. She's beautiful. Very, I can't tell. Are her eyes closed? Yeah, I think her eyes are. Hold on. I'm going to look at this again. It's very interesting. If you look at this card, her eyes are closed, but you can see like the undershadow of like eyeballs. It's almost like she has her eyes closed and she's looking, through her third eye. She's looking, in a psychic or a mental sort of way, if that makes sense. Yep, and it's available on Amazon for $19.51. I gifted a $500 deck for it. That's how much I love my hubby dubby over here. Okay.
Is that mine or yours?
This is mine.
You sure?
Yes. Because this is the one that's edged. You gave me the one that's edged.
The special one.
The special one. Oh, look at the Empress card. She got a belly. She got a belly. But like, if you look at this, what I see is it looks like the world is in. So she is impregnating with the world. Exactly. Mother Earth. She is the mother of Earth.
She's the personification of Earth amplified.
What? Is the medication filling in? High Noon Hermit. I love it. I've been interested in this deck. Says I've been interested in this deck, but haven't watched any reviews. So I'm excited. Awesome. The perspectives in the art in this deck are so different from other decks. Yeah, I actually like decks like that. That the artwork, I use the Wizard's Tarot a lot, and it's a little bit off from the.
Oh, sorry.
What are you? Okay, you need to.
Sorry, hold on. I just wanted to go to the thing. Sorry.
The camera's not if it's on the cards. Oh my god, you just.
Sorry.
So little backstory. Lucian hurt his neck, and he went to the doctors yesterday. And what do they have you on?
They have me on these pills that make me loopy.
Like loopy to the nth degree. Like I can smoke an entire blunt and not be as loopy as he on 2 pills. I'm almost jealous, to be honest, because I got to work at it. Anyways, what did you want to say before you whacked me in the head?
I took which I completely just smashed Dave in the face, and you guys did not see that. I got my reprint. What's a reprint? I got my reprint last week, actually. Thank God. So I gave Dave the first edition that I had. Yeah. So I'm excited. The first one's perfect. Like perfect. Well, I mean, there was nothing wrong with my first one. They just sent me a message saying, "Hey, we're sending out a reprint because."
Well, there were
issues with the first print. So.
There were issues, but this one's fine, as we will see as we go through them. Yeah. So yes, personification of Mother Earth is what we have here. All right, on to the next card. The Emperor. Hold on, let me take a peek at him. Oh, that's a chess piece he's holding. Very interesting. I don't know how to take this emperor here. It's a little different than most of the emperors that I've seen. Let's bring him in. Quite interesting. I like the fact that he's holding a chess piece, which to me, indicates, strategy. So he's about strategy, and he's got like the you can't see the symbol on his arm. What is that called? The Ankh, I think I forgot what it's called, but I've seen that. And then we have a skull and horns up top. Don't know what that represents. That could represent maybe the horned guard. It could represent offensiveness. If you think about rams, the animals, they kind of smack each other. Very interesting. All right, we're gonna move on. All right, I gotta do this a little bit different because I can't pick the cards up. So we'll put this pile here. Sorry, guys. All right, next card is the Hierophant. Another interesting card here in this deck. Look at him. He is happy. He's almost... So whenever I look at a Hierophant, I look at someone that Hierophant is intelligent, esoteric in a way. So I find this Hierophant a trip because he's like happy and like really happy. So it almost reminds me of someone on a spirit journey, just kind of maybe a little high, maybe a little, you think about it. When I, quote unquote, get high, I found, and I did this, I'm going to go into my little story again. I know because I got a somewhat of a different audience on Saturday mornings. I basically got myself good and baked and meditated on my spirit guides. I bet if you were watching me do that, I would look like this card. It was quite interesting. Moving on. Oh, look at this Lover's card. Oh my God, isn't that not steamy? Let's put that in the middle. Oh my God. There are some cards in this deck I find very...
Take her out the photo and damn.
Mm-hmm.
Replace it with me.
Exactly. I find this deck a little bit on the erotic side, some cards. So that's our lovers. That's the Lovers card. Look at them. Oh, and look at him. There are some cards in here that are... oh, look at this Chariot card. Then we have a Chariot.
Should put 2 down at a time.
Why? Anyways, eat your eggs.
Yes, ma'am.
There you go. So this Chariot card, kind of a typical finding direction in life, but like he's racing towards direction. I love this card. It just indicates speed, which is quite interesting. I'll move this along. Strength. So this is an interesting strength card because typically when you see a strength card in some of the decks that I've used, it would be a woman, taming a really powerful beast. This is a little different. If you look at her face, she's kind of like half lioness or tigress. I can't really tell, but something like that. And then half human. And yet, she's holding like a lamb. Almost tells me that the beast is within with this particular card. Very interesting. Inner strength as opposed to just strength.
It's not about necessarily physical strength.
Exactly.
It's about the emotional strength.
Well, I mean, the strength card definitely can indicate emotional strength. This is the Hermit card. Oh my God, look at this card. This is so zen. Now, typical Hermit cards are like, withdraw into oneself. It could be someone in a cave, something like that. But I find this card very interesting. It's almost withdrawing into oneself, and the person in the card's like levitating. It just, to me, it indicates real strong, powerful meditation. That makes sense. Very powerful Hermit card. I like that one. The wheel on the card goes round and round. That's an interesting wheel because I love the multiple wheel aspect. But if you look at the person in the card, let's bring this back up. Well, if you look at it, there's a bunch of wheels and it looks like they're spinning, but she's balanced above, she's balancing that. And what I find interesting, look at me, I'm using the mouse pointer like you can see it. That ain't working. There's light and dark represented in this card, right? So the wheel is all encompassing and, right? You got the light and the dark in here. Very interesting. All right, let's keep moving. Another card I find interesting. I think I'll probably say I find them all interesting, but this is the Justice card. One thing that stands out to me with this card is look at, not only does she have the scales, but she's looking into herself in her reflection, judging herself maybe, contemplating something within, weighing a heavy option. Interesting, very interesting Justice card.
The balance between light and dark.
Mm-hmm. A lot of balance in some of these cards. The Hanged Man. The Hanged Man looks like a woman to me. This is the Hanged Woman. But look at that. She's literally hung upside down, but it looks as though she's in control. I don't see the self-sacrifice before change can occur in this card, which is a typical hangman card. I see something else. I see, being in control of your situation here. I mean, and they could lead to, having the wisdom to sacrifice what you need to before change can occur. But it's a very interesting take on the Hanged Man. And I love the fact that it's actually a woman. You can call it the Hanged Woman. Death and Rebirth. This is the next card for the Death card. And this is another one that's quite interesting. Different than a typical Death card, right? You have like a figure in a shroud, which could represent death, right? You have part of the sickle. But Death's face, I mean, you look through there, you see the sun, you see trees, and I believe that is showing us the rebirth, right? The transfiguration that the Death card, personifies. I think one of the best Death cards that I've ever seen, and I wish I had it for reference, is the Death. It's not called the Death card. It's called the Transfiguration card in the Wizard's Tarot, and it's literally. And I know most of you have probably seen it if you've seen my readings, but it's literally a guy just kind of floating up like this, just transfigured. Because that's what the Death card really means. It's a transfiguration. Well, this card, I love this card because it is the Death, because death is there. But if you look in Death's face and you see that, you see the rebirth, you see the transfiguration. Quite interesting. Love that. Let me see. The sun looks like. Oh, let's get this back out. Hold on. The sun looks like it's going supernova. Let me see. Could be interesting. It could be. I just, to me, it seems like it's just really bright. But it could be. It could be the sun exploding. Maybe it's the opposite. Maybe Death sees the end of the world, And the rebirth is within the spirit realm where death resides. Interesting. Temperance. Now, this is another interesting temperance card. When you look at the figure, the guy in the card, let's bring this in. He looks like his clothes are a little bit, raggedy a little bit, especially the t-shirt, kind of like wrinkled and stuff. And I don't know if he's sitting on top of like sand in a windstorm or floating. It's very ambiguous. But when you look at like temperance, I know it kind of fits. And if you look closely, you see wings. So he may well be just flying above. Very interesting. Temperance. Let's move on. The devil card. Oh my God. This is probably one of the
thing that like your dreams get sucked up into.
The things your dreams get sucked up into?
Yeah, that you hang above your head.
Dreamcatcher?
Yeah. Thank you.
So this is our devil card. And I'll tell you, when you see a devil card, it's, be careful of that manipulation. But when I look at this card, let me tell you, manipulate me, baby. Definitely. Yeah, it's only so Sonia says maybe when I can spend more money on myself, I should get this deck. Yeah. I mean, I think it's what, $20. It's not a very expensive deck. Yeah. He is very tempting. Very That's, like I said earlier, I find this deck has some cards that are really, really erotic. Now look at this tower card. This is interesting. It's very naturistic. I don't know. I mean, that could be like a tree or something like that getting struck by lightning, being destroyed on the top. And you see, I believe that's a squirrel or some sort of animal that's displaced from their tower. Almost kind of signifies, what we're doing to our environment as humans and displacing a lot of the animals, kind of makes you think a little bit.
It's sad. They were displaced in haste.
Oh, but you know what? There's butterflies around there too. Very interesting.
I choose you.
Butterfly. Lucian's pills are kicking in.
They are.
It's all right. I gotta run to the bank after this, and then I'm gonna come home and I'll probably probably toke up, I suppose. Oh, look at this star. Now, this star card, I don't know why. It reminds me a lot about the story of Benjamin Franklin when he sent the kite up and he got struck by lightning. It actually goes really good with the cloth too. But now look at it. She's got the star on a string. What does that tell us? Right? What does that tell us? You got the sun or the star on a string. Are you in control of your destiny?
In control of the cosmos.
She
bends the very ether to her whim.
Oh, now we're going to come. So I find this deck very interesting. Look at the moon card. This gives me a much different vibe than typical moon cards. Almost, I don't know, like at first glance, almost a sacrificial. Did she give herself into the sea? Is she drowning or is she fine? Maybe she's part mermaid and live? I don't know. It's a very interesting take on the moon card. And some striking things to point out outside of the fact that she's underwater is now we have obviously the moon above, and then you have, I'm assuming, wolves, one black and white, one white, representing both light and dark. Very interesting card. I I haven't read with this deck yet. And why is there a guy walking across the yard? Must be the mailman. But I'm be interested how to interpret this card, because it would depend on where it falls in a reading. Because I see her and she looks peaceful, but underwater, it's not her natural element. Very beautiful card. And of course, now we have the Sun card, which is the exact opposite. Look at that. She is arms up above her head. She is just embracing the sunlight. But it looks huge. And actually, let's go back to the Death card. Is the sun in like some sort of supernova? You know, I see like rays all scattered about, you know, and like a beam actually maybe hitting her in the head. That's just adorable. Eat your egg, honey. Okay. Yeah, and high moon, back to the moon card. I forget about the delay in here. She seems connected with the moon, even though she is submerged. Yeah, the artwork in this deck is fantastic. And Mystical says, I think I would get a lot more intuitive readings off of this deck. This is why, yeah, this is absolutely kind of why this deck kind of called out to me, is that I read very intuitively. And I'm going to work on starting to get to know this deck and incorporate this into my Wednesday readings. It'll be very interesting because it's just, the imagery is just so intense. Judgment. Look at this Judgment card. Let's bring that down and let's kind of bring this in. Like, this is Judgment almost in a spiritual nature. You know, is she leaving the mortal for the immortal, or the esoteric, or the spiritual part of life? Is she ascending into, you know, whatever afterlife she believes in, heaven or whatever, for Judgment? I mean, there's so many ways you can take this Judgment card, but it almost, to me, looks freeing, right? The physical, you know, the physical down below is kind of, you know, clenched fists, if you would, while the esoteric spirit is free, like a free spirit in this card. If you look at that, it's quite interesting. Yeah, the art, it's just a stunning artwork. The World card. So this is interesting. This one's a little less. I find this one a little bit less artistic than the other ones, but still, I mean, you've got the circle, you know, which to me means, you know, kind of like infinity, or full circle, a full circle, if you would, and it's quite interesting. All right. Where are we going now? All right, so now we're going to go into some of the court cards, some of the, you know, we're going to go into Pentacles. Ace of Pentacles. Is that a gift? Is someone giving something? That's what I see in this card, is someone giving. Which interesting. It just shoved that whole head. Two of Pentacles. Look at
Two of Pentacles. Ooh, he's hot. That guy?
That's a girl.
Oh, just kidding. The hair coming around the front thigh was a beard.
Yeah. Very interesting. Two of Pentacles. My Pentacles balance required. She kind of looks like she might fall. So that's interesting. All right, let's move on. Three of Pentacles reminds me of stoplights.
I haven't fixed the sound on your phone.
Oh, it echoes. I hope it's not echoing much. Oh, yeah, balance the magic and mundane. I like that. It's a lot of, and And yeah, the previous card, there's a lot of geometry in it. And I noticed that. I just haven't interpreted it yet. But now, what do we get for this Three of Pentacles? Quite interesting. Three Pentacles usually indicates growth of some sort. Are they creating this tapestry? Be careful of the camera, high one. There we go. Interesting. I'm gonna kind of move along. How long have we been going? Oh, 30 minutes. Oh boy, I'm not even halfway through this deck. There are some cards in here that I really need to get to. So I'm gonna move along. This is our Four of Pentacles. Right. Beautiful card. And in this deck, some of the suits are, you'll notice that some of the suits, like the Pentacles, pretty much have a lot of female characters in it. Some of the other pips have a lot of male characters in it. Five of Pentacles, uncertainty. Tell me that card doesn't scream uncertainty, right? It's like she's just got the weight. She just does not know, her future. Or, it's interesting is that there's a locked door. Maybe she can't get in. Maybe Alice in Wonderland-esque. She needs to find the key to get in that door. Six of Pentacles. Very magical, this card. It looks very magical. Magical balance. Balance of magic and mundane again. Oh, hello. Seven of Pentacles. And he is kind of yummy. When I look at this card, I see creation, but a male, kind of a male creation, if you would. Seven of Pentacles. Looks like he is putting energy into the plant. It even looks as though, if you look closely, there's like this little wisp that goes towards the root and up to his hand. Very interesting. All right, Eight of Pentacles. Oh, I love this. Almost the pentacles are represented by moon phases, which is quite interesting. I'm trying to see how we go. It's interesting. Is this way waxing and waning, or is it red this way? But anyways, yeah, yeah. This previous card was very yummy. There's more yummy coming. I'll tell you. There's a lot of yummy in this deck. Nine of Pentacles. Right? I see. Interesting. Tending, this card could represent spirit guides if coming up in a reading. I love when animals stand out. When I look at this card, I can't tell if she's grabbing the pentacle off of the I think that's an eagle. I think that's an eagle. Let me pick this card up, take a better look. Looks like an eagle. We'll just say bird. Or is the bird bringing her the pentacle, but she's clearly reaching up for it? Quite interesting. It could mean, listen for your spirit guides. We have the 10 of Pence. This is quite interesting. This is a fun card, right? Think family gathering of people, very social, coming together. Even the family pets in there, the dog laying down. Very interesting, very party-esque. All right, we have our Page of Pentacles. Very interesting. This one's a little simple, but very interesting. She's standing in a particular stance. Page is typically Lucian just fell asleep. We'll hear him snoring shortly. Bringer of news. Is there something she's trying to say with the pose, with the pentacle? Interesting. And then we have the Knight of Pentacles. What does this represent? It almost looks like he's leaving Pentacles behind, leading a horse. Where is he going? It could indicate moving on from something, moving forward. Interesting. Queen of Pentacles. Right here. Let's watch the time. Hold on, let's see what time it is. Okay, it's only 10. Good. So she's a very... I can't think of the term. Now, I don't want to say simple queen, but very into nature, right? I think her setting, it looks as though she's sitting on a rock under a tree, you know, and it looks as though she's even has branches coming out of her head. Very nature looking. Yes. Getting a very boho hippie vibe from this deck. It definitely has that... definitely has that vibe. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. All right, let's continue. Yeah, because even our king, tell me that doesn't say boho hippie with the big long beard. Just kind of sitting there. Looks like sitting in a study of sorts. Not what you would typically think a king would look like. This is something very interesting. I love how the people in this deck are so very diverse. I love that too. I love that even going back to the Lover's card, it looks like, you know, two different races falling in love. I mean, that speaks volumes. I love stuff like that because, you know, we all bleed red from the inside, don't we? You know, you cut us open, we're all going to look the same. All right, now let's move on to Wands. Look at this Ace of Wands. Here's another card that really speaks mind's eye to me, right? Beginning something spiritual. You know, it's very, very, very spiritual to me, very meditative, very, you know, mind's eye. Let's see. I think Dave just sold a bunch of these decks for the creator. Yeah, I should get commission. No, I'm just kidding. It is a very, very interesting deck. It really is. Look at this Two of Wands. Right? Balance required. But I always think the two. This is interesting. Looking out the window, maybe there's something outside. This card reminds me, there were a few times in life when, you know, when you were a kid and you were sick, you know, and you couldn't go out. You heard everyone else, you know, during the summer, you heard everyone else outside playing, but, you know, you got the flu or something like that, and you're feeling crappy, but you're looking out the window, seeing everyone playing. This is what this card reminds me of. Really reminds me of that, needing to get out there, put yourself out there, go outside if you would. Let me see. Three of Wands. Three of Wands. What can be said about this one? We have a surfer, if you would, going into the sea. Do you guys hear Lucian snoring? Marge says, why are we awake? Oh, I'm always up. You know who's not awake? Listen carefully. Can you hear him? Lucian fell asleep. He fell asleep on us. Four of Wands. Let's bring that up here. Whoops. Let's bring him in close. Look at this. Is another celebratory card. Looks like they're dancing to music, very music inspired. Almost like at a circus. It almost looks You know, with the I say circus because of the tent in the background, but not sure what that tent represents. But there's a good vibe in this card. You know. Then we get to 5 of Wands. Now, what is going on here? Looks chaotic. Typical 5 card, right? Uncertainty. Looks chaotic. Is he reaching for a fireball? Or what is it just screams chaos to me. It's just everything's up in the air. You know that expression? It's all up in the air. That's what this card represents. It's all up in the air. And some of them look like they're falling down. A lot of these cards are just awesome. So we have 6 of Wands. Now this is it. The chaos finally came to an end. And now it's harmony. It's, almost looks like maybe she's in the spotlight. Right? Front and center in something. Very interesting. But she's in control of it. She's owning it. All right. You've got 7 of Wands. This is an image that I have when I do some of my meditations. And what I mean by that is I actually do sit similar to that. And, hold on, I got an itch here. Envisioning that bubble of protection around you. Could that be part of what this card represents to me? I think so. Right? I see, spiritual protection in this particular card. It's our 7 of Wands. 8 of Wands. 8 of Wands represents to me cooperative magic, right? You've got 8 wands, at work. So it screams cooperation, and it's focusing you on the wands, as in physical wand, casting a spell. Maybe 8 wizards are working casting some sort of spell for something. But cooperation is the word for that card. 9 of Wands. Oh, here's another one. Look at this. What do we get from that? She's standing there. Her eyes are closed. She's just kind of looking. I don't know if it almost looks like a little fence in front of her. But what is she looking at? Is she looking at us? Is she looking back? Very, very interesting. Almost contemplating something. Interesting. Cold shoulder top. Not sure what that means. Is that this card or the previous card? Let's see. Cold. I can't get it out of the thing. Is that the type of shirt maybe? Interesting. Because, her shoulder is kind of out. Interesting. Yeah. Oh, I get it. All right, Opal. Yes. Got it. It's a type of top. Interesting. All right. Oh, how about our 10 of Wands? Look at this. This looks like packing up and moving on, right? Could this card represent, could I put it straight? Look at that. It looks like she's packed everything up. Oh, okay. It means that she's wearing a modern shirt. Yes, there's a hint of modern in some of these cards. I get it. Now, what's going on here? It looks like she's moving, packed up. She's got, it looks like an ox or a mule or something. But she has stuff packed on its back. She's got a suitcase. Look, she's carrying stuff. Definitely could mean, time to move on or physically move from something. Interesting. Oh, I got a string in my eye. Now we have our Page of Wands. Page of Wands. She looks like she's kind of running, dancing around. Did she throw the wand up in the air and catch it? Interesting. Interesting. I love how, she's got a kind of a modern dress about her too. Jeans, sneakers. Interesting. The bell is to ward the devil away. Ah. Yeah, we have some bells around here we use to ward spirits. Anyways, that's the Knight of Wands. First thing is this knight is female. They do a lot of what you call it, like cross-gender stuff in this deck, which I also love. When I look at this card, I see something more of Native American-esque with the drum. Quite interesting. She's obviously outside. There's a horse behind her. Quite a cool card. And she's wearing pretty much a simple, again, very modernly dressed. It looks like just a standard top, and it looks as though she could be wearing jeans. Very modern look to the people in this card, in this deck. And look at our Queen of Wands. Oh, look at her. Now she's dressed a little bit more, not a typical dress. Almost, I don't know if it almost looks like either like an Asian or Indian sort of dress. It's interesting. She's beautiful. Oh, but now look at our king. Oh, 2 things about this king. 3 things about this king. He's hot, and he's hot. It's not one of the cards that I find, when I pull it, there's just a little bit of a flutter there. Because I used to know someone and work with someone that looked almost identical to this guy here. Very, very exactly. Hey, king, come rule my castle. But, looking at the card, right? Look over his shoulder. There's the lion, king of the jungle. But that lion's standing behind him, and he's not afraid. So who's who of kings in this card? My money is going to be on him. Because he is fine. Okay. Let's move on. How long have we now? Okay. Well, hopefully I'll get through this whole deck. We'll see how it goes. Ace of Swords. Another card that indicates from within her mind. The new beginning is there's something, it's like her mind is a spiral staircase. What can that signify? An endless problem that's trying to be solved, right? That it's almost indicating like an infinitesimal sort of vibe going on here. What is beginning with this Ace of Swords? Very interesting. Definitely more of the mental nature of that card. 2 of Swords. Balance required. Look at this card. It looks as though she's blind. Well, she is blindfolded, and are the birds attacking her? Very, very imbalanced, very chaotic. She's almost bound. Interesting. Three of Swords. And we've seen 3 of Swords before. The broken-hearted card. Look at this card, though. Oh, my God. I can feel the pain from this card. You can feel the pain. You can see it in her face. And with the heart broken into 3 pieces. Mm. Mm. Agony, yes. Agony, yes. Yes. Mystical says, the king reminded me of Shamar Moore. I don't know who that is. I'm going to have to look at that. But yeah, Opal says, I feel it too. Yes. Don't you you see that card and you just feel it. It like takes, it almost like, yeah, wow, this is a painful card. I'm scarred for 10 right now. Yeah. Very, very, oof. This is why I really want to, I'm going to start getting to know this deck and start reading with it, because I think there's a lot of emotion here, a lot of feeling. 4 of Swords is another interesting, almost like a baby in a nest. She looks very content, very comfortable, very interesting. Very different vibe compared to the first card, the previous card. This one kind of makes me feel warm. Oh my God, yes. Yes, the guy from Criminal Minds. Yes. That's who that came from. Yeah, yeah. And oh my God, he's hot. The guy from Criminal Minds. Oh my God. Basement get floods. Okay, anyways, moving on. 5 of Swords. Wow, what is going on here? It's another card that looks painful. Almost, but with this card, it's almost from within. Like, has he got a headache? He's got his hand on his head as if to say, the pain is coming from within his own mind. Very interesting. Interesting. We've got the 6 of Swords. Now, isn't this is the card usually depicted by the couple in the boat emerging from the fog. What I get from this card, I find it very interesting. The boat is tethered to the birds, and they're pulling them forward. Could this mean follow your spirit guide? Listen to what your spirit guide. I mean, just so many messages you can get in a reading with these cards, and like that's what this card's saying to me, right? Follow your guides. Now we have 7 of Swords. This is another interesting card. What is he doing? It looks as though he's got a knife and he's got feathers in his pack, some falling out. Is he hunting? Interesting. And the bird in the foreground does not look happy. Very interesting. That's our 7 of Swords. Now our 8 of Swords. Oh my, look at this. So how do we take this card? The 8 of Swords. It's almost like the woman in this picture might be reflecting back on herself from the agony state, when she was, not the agony, but when she was bound. Maybe this, card signifies, stop, take a, reflect back at your past. Hold on, give me a second. I'm going to pull that other card out. I'm going to find it. Bear with me a little bit, because it's a few back. I think this is it. No. Bear with me, guys. Right here. I mean, look at this. Get these positions, right? But is the Eight of Swords a reflection back, right? Because 2 is balance required. 8 could be the achievement of that, right? When you look at it. And she's reflecting back on what, what has happened after she emerged from, from this. Does that make sense? At least I think it does. All right, moving on. Quite interesting. Yeah, this is going to be a fun deck to read with. 9 of Swords. And isn't this like the Nightmare card? Right? It's very different than what's typical. It's almost like the swords are represented by birds in this suit. That's what it is. But yeah, she's definitely being awake at night. Let's see. Marge, a question. How do you get rid of that setting where when you type a letter, it eats up another letter that was typed before? If it's on a PC, it could be you have to hit the insert key. There should be an insert key somewhere on your keyboard. If it's on the phone, I'm not sure. It's a 9 of Swords. 10 of Swords. Now we're getting into better feelings. Right now we have someone it almost looks like out on a walk in a meadow, hazy sunshine, and just a little bit more peaceful. Wow, look at this. Page of Swords. Very interesting. She's got a bunch of light bulbs by a string. That could signify ideas, right? She's bringing some ideas, reading from a text. Interesting. And next is the Knight of Swords. Oh, we got to do time check. 10:30. All right, we're doing okay. Right, so what's going on with our Knight of Swords? It almost looks to me, I can't see. Oh, that's a motorcycle in the background. That reminds me of the guy from The Walking Dead. What's his name? Is it Derek? I forgot the name. The guy with the crossbow and a motorcycle. But is he off to some sort of battle? Right? Is he off to defend his homeland or something? Right? To defend his grounds, stand your ground, defense, off to fight a battle. Queen of Swords. It's interesting. Very contemplative. Contemplating. Yeah, she's just kind of sitting there, just thinking about pondering something, pondering the meaning of life. This card comes up and I'm reading. It's going to be, almost hermit card-esque, where this card would read as stop and think about something. The Queen is trying to tell you something. And we have our King of Swords. Now, right off the bat, the first thing I notice in this card is the owl. Signifies intelligence. He's an intelligent king, but yet he's still a humble king, dressed in normal clothes. Let me see. Insert key work. Thanks. I'm a tech guy. I understand that tech sometimes. Yes, Opal. Daryl Dixon. Yes, I met him too. He came to Comic-Con in Providence one year that I went. Very interesting. Yeah. So that's our king. And he's got a little hotness about him too. I'll tell you. Okay. Now we're going to move on to cups. Ace of Cups. Again, Ace, typically new beginnings, but now look at this. This to me is like beginning of magical creation. She's got, she's using her hands to create, manifestation. That makes sense. Two of Cups. Oh, look at that. They're holding hands, and it's like their combined energy is filling the cups below. And what I find remarkable is the energy or whatever's spilling off from them is multicolored, but when it hits the cups, it's single colored. What does that signify? Interesting. I like that. Three of Cups. Again, this is an interesting card. It looks almost as though it looks like it's in daylight, but does this not look like the Little Dipper? I don't know if the camera doesn't pick it up as strong as it does on the card. But now we have three women walking away. It could be that they're standing looking at what's up in the sky above them. Right? Maybe wondering what that is. Interesting. Four of Cups. This cup emotionally kind of makes me feel like, how do I explain this? She's thinking about something. She's not truly happy, but she's content. She's like accepting the things that she cannot change, and she's able to change the stuff it's like, oh, well, you know what? I tried. That's what this card's saying. I tried. I did my best. Time to move on. Time to, did enough. And yeah, Opal, the charmed ones. Yeah. I'll have to, I'm sure that if I showed that card to Sleepy Lucian over here, he'll say the same thing. And he'll probably walk around singing that song that played when they walked into the room on one of the episodes. I don't know, there's some song that he gets going on about. Okay. Five of Cups. Let me take a good look at this one. Interesting. What do we have going on here? If you look closely, she's holding a cup that's full of something. It looks almost as though she kicked that cup over with her foot to purposely spill it into whatever this is. Is that giving up surplus, keeping just what you need, returning the rest, to Mother Earth? Could signify that. Five's typically uncertainty. But yeah, I just intuitively not getting that from this particular card. What I need to realize, yeah. Oh, look at this. This is an interesting card. What's going on here with the Six of Cups? You know what I see? I see a couple of friends here. Man's best friend and the man. But look at, he's reflecting back on when they were both puppies, if you would. Isn't that something? We do that a lot. Don't we think back, or something will remind us of when we were little. I think that's what he's doing there. He's just kind of going down memory lane, with his man's best friend. Isn't that something? 7 of Cups. Oh, interesting. Interesting card here. Let's bring this in. I had to take a double take at this card because I didn't notice something at first, which is really weird. Under the cups, like you can see a snake emerging from this cup. There's a bat wing coming out of this cup. And then there's little ladders. This is a very interesting card. I don't know how to take this one. I will have to meditate on this card. Maybe, I don't know what the little ladders mean. Is he like a giant? Interesting. Interesting. Oh, God, he does look like the guy from AC/DC. Right? Interesting. Snakes and Ladders. Yeah, isn't that a game? Yeah. Maybe he's playing Snakes and Ladders. Interesting. I remember that game. No, it was Shoots and Ladders, wasn't it? Let's bring up our Ace of Cups. Eight. Did I say Ace of Cups? What's wrong with me? 8 of Cups. When I see this card, right, I see the cup in the foreground, but she's walking away. This is another one of those cards that say, look, as much as it may tempt you, this is the time, or as much as you want, there's a time where you should walk away, leave it behind. It may be painful, but it's for the best. That's what I get from this card. Just walk away. 9 of Cups. Look at this. Wow. Look at that. Let's push it up a little bit. It's like, this card is like, throw caution to the wind. Just throw them up and see where they land. Have faith. Just do it. See what happens. Do it without thinking. Deal with the consequences when they emerge. Throw it up. Leave it to the spirits to decide. Interesting. Very interesting. I like that card. Oh, and I didn't notice. Look down here. There's a treasure chest. Very interesting. I love this card. This is just chill out and just let what be. It's very interesting. Yeah, we're almost done with these. Let's do our 10 of Cups. Oh, I love the colors in this one. Isn't this an interesting card? We have, I'm assuming, a couple. At least one of them is female. I wonder if they're both women. It could, with the rainbow, have like an LGBT-esque flair to the card. And then you have kids in the, way out in the distance. Looks like they're playing. Interesting. This could be, just focus on family, type of card. Focused on your loved ones. And, if it comes up in a reading, hey, it's time to focus on those close to you. Very interesting. I love the colors in that one. Page of Cups. Oh, yeah, she did. She looked like she was dancing, too. What's going on here? This is a very interesting take on the card. He looks pretty content sitting. But he's looking up. It almost is like he's looking up at himself. Because he's sitting there. Are those his feet dangling above his head? You know, maybe this could be having faith, looking, learning, discovering something about yourself. You know, very interesting. How do we take this card? And in the background, I'm going to pull this over here. I want to see what that is in the background. Oh. So in the background, I don't know if it picks it up. Let me see if I can move this closer. Look what's going on in the background there. You know, it's like the hands making the heart sign. Quite interesting. Knight of Cups. And another very eye candy-esque card. Look at him. Bring me some of them flowers. This knight is fine. And I just love the way he's dressed. I love the sneakers, the jeans. Just very... Is that your knight in not so much shining armor? Bringing you some flowers? He rode in on a white horse, didn't he? Right? He can come to my door any day. Absolutely. Oh, I can say that because my husband's asleep over here, snoring away. Queen of Cups. Let's look at her. Meditative. I know I talk a lot about meditation, but this queen is very esoteric. She is deep in meditation. She is very spiritual. She was surrounded by spiritual energy, tapping into universal energy. Very, very meditative. Love that. And what I don't get is she is sitting waist deep in water. Wow. And of course the the cup is floating on top of the water, which is interesting. But that's very interesting. Has anyone ever is meditating in water such a thing? Oh, look at this. King of Cups. He's another bit of yummy. Again, sitting in water. It's almost like he's sitting on top of the water, manipulating the cup. He's got creatures there. I believe that's a fish and a starfish. A boat in the background. Could this be a depiction of a young Poseidon? Maybe before he was god of the sea or something like that. Very interesting. And that's it. That was our last card. So we made it through this whole deck. Fantastic. It's a very interesting deck. Hold on. Let's bring the camera back to me. Hold on. Let's undo that. Let's do that. Okay. It's a very interesting deck. The card stock, it's pretty decent card stock, pretty standard, thicker. It's not thin by no means. It's bendable. It's not a card stock that I would really bend a lot. Like there's a lot of cards that are really flexible. This one seems a little bit more cardboardish, but thick enough nonetheless. Because this deck, I believe Lucian edged it, which he kind of did an interesting edging job on it. Which I don't know how I like the way it looks in order, but when you shuffle it, it really has a great effect with the multiple colors all shuffled. Comes with a little, I won't say a little booklet. It's quite a pretty substantial booklet it comes with. Um, there's a lot of good stuff in here. Some different spreads they talk about, and then of course they have they'll have a little page on a little section on each card. Very typical standard fare when it comes to decks. All right. Oh yeah, Lucy would be drooling too. Absolutely. That's why we yes. Yes, he would. And we have that type of relationship. Not an open relationship. We're very monogamous. But we will discuss hot. Yeah, it's a nifty edging job. I really love it when it's shuffled, because it really gives it a rainbow-esque look. But anyways, let me see, an hour and 15 minutes. We did pretty good. So that's all I've got for today. A couple of things that I'm going to talk about. For those of you who saw my first Wizardry 101 in the series, where I'm going to teach what it's like to be a wizard. I am moving that live. To put it simply, Tuesday night's probably not the best night to do a live, just because there's other YouTubers that go on at that time, and I want to minimize overlapping. So I think the plan is we're going to do it Sunday afternoon at 3, because I believe it'll be an hour right between two lives. Definitely, if you guys have been watching that, which there's only one, we're going to do it. We're going to do the second part of that class tomorrow afternoon. I will schedule it and post it on the Facebook page. Definitely check out the Facebook group, Crossed Paths. All of the info for the date change on that live will be in the Facebook group. I'll also schedule it with YouTube, so you hopefully will get an alert. But yeah, we're moving that from Tuesday to Sunday afternoon. Everything else is going to remain the same. Popcorn Party is still going to be Friday nights. I just think that's the best night to do that. And let me see. SaturDaves is SaturDaves. I don't know why. I think Lucian has a hoodoo class tomorrow. I'm not sure the time. Tomorrow, early afternoon. I want to say 11:30, but don't quote me on that. But it'll be in the Facebook group. So so definitely check out the Facebook group, Cross Paths. Check out Lucian's Instagram. He's been putting a lot of work into that. This is my Instagram. I've been posting some stuff. I don't put as much work into it as Lucian does. And that's it, guys. Thank you for joining. Let's go see if there's any. Opal says, I'm excited about the lessons. Yeah, it's going to be really interesting. The book, the way it's written, is going to ramp up into some really cool stuff with a wizardry or a wizard's perspective on it, as opposed to the typical pagan witch perspective. It's the same thing, just a little different of a perspective. Lori says, this was great. Thanks. I'm glad you guys enjoyed this. I came up with the idea last night when I was trying to figure out what am I going to do for SaturDaves, and I forgot that I had gotten this deck, and I wanted to talk about it. Opal was our guest last night on the Popcorn Party. She had a good time. If any of you guys are interested in being guests, let me know. I'm starting a list to have a guest every week on the Popcorn Party. Keep in mind, it is popcorn party, so it'll be a little bit of fun. But it's a good way to get, kind of share exposure, right? We're here to support one another. And I like doing that. I like having fun with folks in the community. And that's all I got, guys. Thank you again for joining, and have a great Saturday. I'll see some of you tomorrow for Wizard 1-on-1 Class 2.